And what's up, everybody? Back with another episode of the Live, Laugh, Left podcast. Back again this week, and Gary's here again as always.
Hello, everybody.
We got a lot to talk about this week. Some pretty big topics from a lot of the sports that are not in season right now, but also, of course, a ton of baseball stuff and NASCAR stuff to go over too, as normal. So, I was trying to find some trivia for this week, and I couldn't think of anything good, so no trivia this week.
Actually, I can do one trivia.
Okay.
This is going to be based on the Kalamazoo area. This isn't Michigan State worthy or all that, but it's Western Michigan worthy. When was the last time Western Michigan made it to a big, huge bowl game? What I mean by that is for example,
Good name, Big Huge.
like Rose Bowls, things that you wouldn't usually see a MAC team at.
So you mean a New Year's Six Bowl, which I would know is 2016 when Western made the Cotton Bowl. When they went undefeated, made the Cotton Bowl, got their ass kicked by Wisconsin.
But at least we made it to the Cotton Bowl.
This is true.
Also, we got Pepsi up in here. The Pepsi.
Damn. Early for some Pepsi, huh?
But yeah, I just made it easier for all of us.
I have water. Alright, cool. Cool little fun fact there if you didn't know that. Yes, Western Michigan made the Cotton Bowl once. Time in my life I will never forget. The hype around that was crazy. Speaking of football, I guess we can dive into that real quick to start off here. I had one thing, and it's a pretty funny thing. Tony Romo got arrested for DUI in Wisconsin, which, funny enough, this only happened like a couple days after we were in Milwaukee. So it's kind of crazy that we almost saw Tony Romo get arrested. That was crazy. But yeah, he got operating while intoxicated, and then the body cam footage just came out, and he was apparently going to visit his grandparents or something, and as what he said when he was drunk. And then there's like the footage of him trying to do the sobriety test, and he's like trying to call a replay to the booth and shit. It's so fucking funny. Dude, he looks absolutely trashed. Don't drink and drive. Drink and drive is bad. But the situation is funny because nobody got hurt. So.
Drinking and driving's bad, guy.
Anyways, I just wanted to point that out. Fuck you, Tony Romo. I hope you get fired by CBS. That's all I had to say.
Probably won't.
Okay, Gary, you guys your thing.
Yes, I do got my thing.
It's early in the morning.
Yes, it is early in the freaking morning. I have actually multiple things with me, but first we're going to talk about this, and I want to talk about this mostly with Tyler. In the Big Ten right now, we've got 4 new coaches for football, and that's, of course, we're going to go with number 1 being Pat Fitzgerald, who has 110 wins in 17 seasons, and he was at Northwestern. And then you got Michigan, who has now Kyle Whittingham, who has a record of 177 and 88 in 21 full seasons at Utah. So, And then you got UCLA, who got their new guy, Bob Chesney. He is 12-2 last season at James Madison University and made the college football playoff. And then you got Penn State's Matt Campbell, who got 3-time Big 12 Coach of the Year at Iowa State. The question is, who's going to be the top coach between those four? My opinion, I have to say, even though I hate saying it, it may just be Michigan. With a record like that, and with 21 full seasons at a college like Utah, I think he knows what he's coming into. So
yeah, but he's old as shit.
It's either that or it's Penn State, one of those two. So it's not going to be Pat.
Okay, so I think for the first season, while they're still getting adjusted to their programs, I think Pat Fitzgerald's going to do the best because he's a Big Ten guy going to a Big Ten school. But in the long run, I don't think Pat's going to be the best, unfortunately. I think it will be probably Penn State. I don't think it's going to be Michigan. I don't think this Kyle Whittingham guy is going to stick around for a long time. Why? Because he retired from Utah only to take the Michigan job and go out of retirement. So I don't think he's going to be there that long. The Penn State guy's probably going to be there for a while. He looks still pretty young. Penn State's a big program.
And we're not hating on UCLA's guy. UCLA
is just a bad program and will always be a bad program. Their stadium, the Rose Bowl, is only good for the game. The stadium's actually pretty shit. It's a shit location.
I mean, it's like maybe they will start doing good. I'm only saying that because of what happened with Curt Cignetti, how he went to JMU and then all of a sudden with Indiana just got to the top spot. So I think that's what UCLA's trying to do. Hey, maybe he'll be the next Curt Cignetti. Let's be honest here. Curt Cignetti was a one-time thing. I don't think it's ever going to happen again as long as we're alive. But you never know.
You don't know.
Pat Fitzgerald could be the next Curt Cignetti, and we could win 3 straight championships and destroy Michigan.
If only. I don't see that happening. But with influxes of NIL and donor money and shit, it's really out in the open for anybody to win a championship nowadays.
And then
plus your Rutgers.
Yeah. We don't talk about Rutgers. And then I have some little souvenirs that I got from my work that I would like to show off real quick.
You got these at work?
Yeah, it was Western Michigan night.
Oh, that would be why. Yeah.
So I got 2 posters. The other poster's hanging on my wall with the Michigan logo crossed off and Central Michigan logo crossed off because I will definitely not be wanting them to win. But I've got City of Champions because look at those babies. All won. Let's go. Especially that hockey championship right there. And that MAC championship and that cannon. Heck yeah, baby. So I'll be finding somewhere to put this on my wall. And, yeah. Plus, we've got the towels, baby. The towels.
Oh, I have that towel.
You may have seen Anne whenever she comes on. You see it on her wall. Yes, now I have one because I've been wanting one of these. I got 2, one for my sister, one for me. So, and then the last one, Lansing likes to do Plinko. And I was like, since I'm winning towels and I have a Kalamazoo wings. Why not do a Taco Bell?
I can't believe they just had a Taco Bell towel. That's insane. I would have totally gotten one of those.
You just have to do Plinko and you have to get it correctly.
All right, cool. Maybe I'll play Plinko next time I'm at the game.
But yeah, I mean, the guy that apparently the guy that was wearing the Buster Bronco suit, because I actually met him. Let's just say that he whenever you guys play college football 27, that's his model. Like, he models that. That's his figure. So, I mean,
that's pretty cool.
And he even proved it too. He showed me a picture on his phone of all like him at the place, EA Sports, with all the dots on his body and just getting ready to do all that. So, I mean, can't say he's lying.
True.
But go Broncos.
True. Okay, that's it for football. Only one basketball related thing this week, but it is quite a large one. LeBron finally figured out where he's going. And if you saw my short earlier this week, you'll know that I'm not very happy with this. He's going to the 76ers on a 2-year, $8 million contract. So not only did this guy take a significant pay cut, more than significant, almost a 100% pay cut, he's going to fucking Philadelphia.
To lose lots of more games.
I talked about in the short, my hatred for Philadelphia stems so far. Not just the 76ers, but with the Phillies, with the Eagles. The Flyers are trash, so no, we don't talk about them. But I think with the 76ers, the Phillies, and the Eagles, I think Philly is just so heavily glazed as a sports city. And yeah, the Eagles won a couple Super Bowls. Or won a Super Bowl, right? Recently. They're not the worst sports city on the planet, okay? They deserve some of the hype. But not this much. And they only do it because of their proximity to New York. ESPN loves to suck them off. And they're so overrated every year. The Phillies underperform every fucking year. The Eagles are falling the fuck apart. And then you got the fucking 76ers. The team that deserves the hype the least. They never do shit. They never do anything. Okay, Joel Embiid's been there for how long? And they can't even get to the Eastern Conference Finals? He's so overrated as a player, by the way. He hurts his knee every year, plays like 5 games, and he's hailed as like one of the greatest NBA players of all time. On what basis?
Right.
So now Philly has a super team.
You mean a super glass team?
With Joel Embiid's broken knees, Jaylen Brown, who's another overrated as shit player, only because he plays for Boston.
Hey, Jaylen Brown was actually good.
And then you got LeBron, who's in his 40s. You really expect him to contribute a ton? Yeah, he'll put up some solid numbers in a few games, but he's in his 40s. Everybody's like, oh, Philly's got the best starting five. Let's fast forward to Christmas. Joel Embiid's out for the year because he hurt his knee for the 800th time. And Jaylen Brown's underperforming because he's not getting Boston suck off refs, and LeBron, who can't play every single game because, again, he's in his 40s and can't carry the load of a team anymore. Or they pull a fucking Brooklyn Nets and are so dysfunctional that they barely play together at all and then get to the playoffs and they lose. That's probably going to fucking happen again. I don't see anything changing in the history of Philly with this fucking team. I don't. Jaylen Brown blew a 3-1 lead. LeBron got swept. And Joel Embiid was hurt. That's how it was last year. You think putting them all together it's going to be better this year? Fuck no. But everybody's going to hail Philly as a NBA Finals contender. They're going to be the best team in the East. Even after they're 15-30.
If anyone's favorite, it's probably going to be most likely either the Celtics or the Pistons again.
It's going to be the Knicks. The team that makes no roster changes yet somehow made a generational improvement from year to year.
Fuck the Knicks. Literally, I hate that side of New York. Let me remind you guys. New York Knicks fans are the same fans that cheer for the Mets and the Islanders because they're both orange and blue. Just think of it. Then you have the other side of New York where they cheer for the Yankees and the Rangers.
And the Giants.
And the Giants, yes. I don't even talk about the Jets because nobody watches the Jets. Nobody even watches the Giants anymore. They'll probably watch it this year because Odell Beckham Jr. is on the team. But other than that, no one cares.
Nobody gives a shit, no.
In football, no one cares when people should care about the Giants because the Giants are the main factor in the NFL. But then when you got basketball, and literally you only have one New York team that you have to cheer for when you're a Yankee fan too, and you don't want to cheer for a team that's the same color as your crosstown rival, you have no choice.
And I don't like the Knicks. I want to make that clear. But I think and I'll go as far to say, between the four major U.S. sports, pro sports, I think the team that I hate the most out of all of them is the 76ers. I will go that far.
Hate the Red Sox.
I hate them more than the Green Bay Packers. I hate them more than any NHL team. I hate them more than Cleveland Guardians. I hate them more than anybody. It's not because of a specific player. All right, Joel Embiid, Jaylen Brown, LeBron, I'm sure they're nice people. I don't have anything against them personally.
LeBron's fucking piece of shit.
But the fact that... Oh, Gary's gone. Anyways, the fact that...
Continue.
The fact that they are so highly praised year after year after year after year after year after year. And what do? Fuck all nothing every fucking year. I hate it. They are the Dallas Cowboys of the NBA, even somehow worse than the Dallas Cowboys when it comes to hype, and the sole proprietor of that hype is ESPN. And that gets into one of my bigger topics, and I wasn't going to originally talk about this, but it's a good segue. ESPN's NBA coverage is terrible. I'm sorry. The NBA should figure it the fuck out, because I am tired of going on SportsCenter, going on these NBA pregame channels or social media posts or whatever, and it's ESPN glazing the same three teams, and they're all within a 20-minute drive of ESPN's headquarters, and that's the only reason why they talk about them. Philly, New York, and Boston. That's the only teams they talk about. Or wherever LeBron is, which is now Philly, so that fits into their agenda. It's so bad. All right, Kendrick Perkins is fucking awful. He averaged like 5 points a game. Yet he's hailed as this great NBA analyst. He's literally brought on for every single fucking conversation. The dude doesn't even look like he wants to be there anymore. Yet ESPN's gonna ride his ass till he dies, it seems like. And like their coverage of other sports is pretty bad too. Again, football, all they talk about is the Cowboys. But NBA, I think, is the worst because that's the one that they push the most. It's Super Bowl Sunday. Let's talk about how the 76ers are doing when they're already eliminated from the playoffs. Because that's exactly what fans are tuning in to hear about. It doesn't make any sense. And I know this is probably a far-fetched take, but I fully believe that ESPN is part of the reason why the NBA has just become a three-point shooting contest mostly. Because they like talking about that. I mean, they get all the games. They're the sole proprietor network outside of the local networks. So it makes sense, right? Their coverage is terrible. If you need any further evidence as to ESPN's downfall as a broadcasting organization, look no further than their NBA coverage. NBA Today, Live, whatever it is, and you'll see why. It's just not interesting anymore. They talk about, again, like I said, same three teams, same three people, same three topics every single day. I don't understand how they have enough to talk about those same teams every fucking day. Yet other teams, like the Pistons, are barely mentioned. What are you doing there? Like, don't even need to show us your bank statements to know who's funding your payroll when you do stuff like that. Same thing with the fucking Dallas Cowboys. How much money are they funneling into your team program? It's terrible. And like I said, I think the worst one out of all of them is the 76ers. Because at least Boston has won championships. At least the Knicks won the championship. At least LeBron has won shit in his career with Cleveland and with Miami and LA. What the fuck have the 76ers done in the last 25 years? I'll tell you what. Get overhyped. Joel Embiid gets hurt week 1. They do shit. Let's look at their last 25 years. 76ers. Philadelphia 76ers historical all-time. So we go back to the last time they won the NBA fucking finals was 1983. 43 years ago. What have they done since then? Well, first off, they have a longer title drought than the goddamn Chicago Bears. That's sad. What happened after that? They lost in the first round, lost in the Eastern Conference Finals, lost in the semis, lost first round, didn't even make the playoffs. Lost the first round, lost the semis. Then he won a playoff drought. Lost semis, last semis, lost in the finals. I don't even know how they made the finals. Lost first round, conference semifinals. Didn't even make the playoffs. First round. What have they done? Talk about the last 7 years. Lost Eastern Conference semis. Lost Eastern Conference semis. Lost Eastern Conference first round. Lost Eastern Conference semis. Lost Eastern Conference semis. Lost Eastern Conference semis. Lost Eastern Conference first round. Didn't even make the playoffs. Lost Eastern Conference semis. I don't like. Do you really expect anything to change? No, I don't expect anything to fucking change. Go back to the Nets. The Nets had Kyrie, Durant, and fucking James Harden. Yeah, a lot more toxic and dysfunctional of a team, but essentially it's the same thing. It's a super team. A super team full of players that all need to have the ball. When you have players that all need to have the ball, team's going to suck. Because not everybody can have the ball all 48 minutes of the game. Point being, I hate the 76ers. I hate ESPN. They're bad, and more bad. Fuck them. I hate them so goddamn much, and I will laugh my ass off if the same fucking thing that has happened year after year after year after year, literally the last 4.5 decades for the 76ers, happens again. They are a failure of an organization. They have the most annoying hype base ever. And I guarantee you, if they were anywhere other than if they were located anywhere other than the East Coast, they wouldn't be talked about nearly as much as they are. That's my synopsis. LeBron, that was probably the worst choice LeBron could have possibly made for a team to go to, outside of going to, like, Washington. What he should have done, because at this point, LeBron only has like I said in the short, LeBron only has probably 1 to 2 years left in the NBA, right? Getting old, he's not performing as great. He already has 6 fucking championships. He already has hit the highest of highs when it comes to his accolades. He's already going to go down as one of, if not the greatest NBA player of all time. What more is there left to do for him? So at this point in your career, you got 1 to 2 years left. What you should do, go back to fucking Cleveland. Retire as a Cavalier. Go out with the fans that brought you to the top. Like, that would make the most sense. Yeah, he probably doesn't win a championship again with Cleveland. Though I honestly believe that he would have a better chance at a championship going to Cleveland in their current situation than being with the 76ers. Just because the 76ers do jack shit. You know, Cleveland doesn't do shit either most of the time. But LeBron and Donovan Mitchell, 1-2 pairing, that could be something. But no, he chose to choose a team. He chose the hype train. Because you know what? That's LeBron in a nutshell. Because ESPN wanted him to go to Philadelphia so they could suck him off more. Guarantee it. Fucking hate it. Anyways, that's my reaction to it. I don't give a fuck. I hope the 76ers lose. I hate them. I hate them. I hate them. So that's my synopsis on that. I don't know if you got anything else to add, Gary.
I do not.
Well, then we'll head to hockey. only one thing for hockey as well, but it's another big one. The Red Wings are losing another player. Patrick Kane is going back to the Blackhawks on a 2-year deal. His tenure in Detroit is over. He was a free agent. If the Red Wings wanted him to stay, they probably would have signed him already. So it can't be that surprising. I'm okay with him going, honestly. He had some good moments with the Red Wings, obviously, but there were some moments down the stretch last season that really made me just feel like he had hit his ceiling, hit his peak as a Red Wing. Such as when he got that really unnecessary penalty when we were playing the Wild, and the Wild had all the momentum on their side already. We were holding on to a 1-goal lead, and Patrick Kane decides to just fucking tackle a guy for no reason whatsoever and get a penalty that led to the game-tying goal. When we desperately needed a point. That was kind of a moment that's like, fuck you. He's going back to Chicago. Chicago's going to be happy. Patrick Kane only, again, like LeBron, only has really a couple years left. And Patrick Kane is pulling off the correct move by going back to the team where he started at to end his career. So you got that at least. But just wanted to point that out. That he going back to Chicago. Now, does that mean the Blackhawks are going to be good? No, it's not. But it's funny. Okay, well, we're going to move on to baseball now. So that was a quick little hockey topic there. The Tigers, been an up and down run for the Tigers since we last talked. In their final game out in Chicago, they beat the Cubs 5-1. Really good pitching performance and some more home run bombs. Was a good endeavor out there. So they took the series against the Cubs, which is really impressive, especially on the road. Then they're at home, still continuing their very long 7-game homestand that ends right now, actually, at the time of this video going up. They're playing their last game of the series right now. But they played the Royals first, a 4-game stand. They beat the Royals in the game 1, 4-3. And then they beat them again in game 2, 2-1. Then they proceeded to give up back-to-back 8th-inning leads in games 3 and 4. And the offense goes anemic in clutch time. And therefore, they lose to the Royals 3-2, and they lose again to the Royals 5-4 to split the series. Very, very bad, devastating losses. They looked like shit. The offense looked like shit. And it just, nothing was going their way because the bullpen couldn't get an out. Literally, it was the same story both games. They were holding the Royals down. It was a 1-run game. Then the Royals get a bullshit blooper single to get a guy on, and then the bullpen collapses and they give up the go-ahead home run. Happened both fucking times, and it was so annoying. But they still split the series. But it was devastating nonetheless. By the way, in this series, it was the game 3. Salvador Perez became the all-time Kansas City Royals home run leader, hitting his 315th home run in the same place he hit his first home run. Good job, Tigers. Good job to let Salvador Perez, of all people, own you. Now they're taking on the Orioles, Purdue's favorite team, in a 3-game series. They lost the first game 8-5. They literally could not stop giving up runs early in the game. The offense would try and come back, but when you got Riley Green swinging at pitches that are 3 feet above his head, it's going to be hard to get any run momentum there. And then the game just stopped scoring on either end for about the second half. They lost 8-5. That's a 3-game losing streak. Pretty fucking bad. But there was some help along the way. Javi Baez finally came back from injury. That was a long injury for him. He had been out since April. Remember, with that injury he suffered in Cincinnati. But he finally got called back up to the Tigers for their second game of the series with the Orioles. At the expense, though, because they were out of room on the team, Jake Rogers got cut. Bad idea. Jake Rogers is not a great hitter, but I think he's a good catcher. Really good on that end of the ball. And Jake Rogers had been doing okay this year. For Jake Rogers standards, he had been doing okay. Regardless of how he was performing, there is only one player that should have been getting rid of in this instance. And it was not Jake Rogers. It was fucking Matt Vierling. Fucking Matt Vierling is ass. Every Matt Vierling at-bat is an out. I don't fucking understand how this guy stayed on the fucking roster over Jake Rogers. Like, literally, in the series against the Royals, we have offensive momentum. Here he comes up to the plate. Either it's a immediate pop-out, or he shows bunt twice to get to an 0-2 count, and then swings at the worst pitch imaginable to strike out. Like, what are you doing? It's every game with this guy. Like, he never has, like, really broken through as a player. And I'm just like, how have the Tigers given him this many chances? I don't get it. I just don't get it. But I guess maybe they found the right formula, because in Game 2, they smoked the Orioles 14-0. They became the first MLB team since 1935 to score runs in every inning that they came up to at-bat. And they pitched a shutout, so hey, something went right, I guess. Playing Game 3 of the series right now. We don't know what the score is because we're recording this before the game has started, but we'll cover that game next week, as we normally do with these Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday series. So there is that. That's it for the Tigers. Obviously, the other big thing that's looming is the MLB trade deadline. So we are seeing what might happen with Tarek Skubal. Reports are that the Dodgers already have a trade package in mind. In fact, Skubal is playing right now what could be his last game as a Tiger. But reports are that there's already a trade package in mind. The Dodgers already have a trade package ready to go. They are just waiting for the Tigers to make an offer or say that they want to go in with the trade. The trade deadline is Monday, so we will see what happens there. There's also rumors that Casey Mize might get traded. I don't know about that, but maybe. I don't see why the Tigers would get rid of both of them, but who knows. Anyway, that is it for the Tigers, though. Again, we'll cover the whole trade deadline bullshit and future game results next week. So I will let Garry take it over now for the other baseball stuff. If he will come back.
I'm here.
There he
Hello.
is. Is there a ghost over there or something?
No, my cats are sick. My cats are sick, so had to make sure they don't do anything.
Oof.
But anyways, we are on Lugnuts and Kalamazoo Growlers. I will start with the Kalamazoo Growlers first, since they are easier. When we first had it, they were facing the Rivets, and it was 8-1. Well, Kalamazoo did come back to only lose 14-9 to the Rivets. That was on July 21st. Yeah, that's July. No, August. Sorry, my bad. This is July. Never mind. I'm tired. Then the next day, on July 22nd, it was Rockford again winning, but this time winning 21-3. That was huge, and that was sad. Next, they were facing the Rockford Rivets again, and Growlers won this time, 8-5. And then going on July 24th, we face the Kingfish, and we lose 5-4. Fish. And then we face them again the next day, and we lose again, 8-6. At this point, the standings are looking like we're not going to make it, because we're probably not. Then we go against Battle Creek for 2 games, one there, one here in Kalamazoo. And we beat them once, 9-5. We beat the Battle Sucks. And then right after that, the next day, Battle Creek beats Kalamazoo only by 1. So they got lucky. And then, come on. Hold on a minute. All right. There we go. And then yesterday, by the time we're recording this, they lost to Royal Oak 11-4. So right now we're kind of on a 2-game losing streak. We're facing Royal Oak today at 6:35 p.m. Eastern at Memorial Park. So we're gonna be in Royal Oak. If we would have not have, lost the first half, maybe we wouldn't be really talking about them and hoping for a playoff spot. But guess what? Royal Oak has a chance to make the playoffs because they are first place right now.
That's crazy.
Yay.
Maybe we'll go to a Royal Oak playoff game.
No, we won't. But right now, I accidentally pushed the button. Right now, it goes Royal Oak, Traverse City, Kenosha, and Rockford. That's the top 4. Then, most likely, out of the playoffs, out of the playoffs 100%. Excuse me. Jesus. Kalamazoo, then Richmond, then Battle Creek. So that ain't a good day for Kalamazoo. But you want to know what is a good day for another baseball team that we know? The Lansing Lugnuts. Yes, we're still last in the second half. Yes, we probably won't make the playoffs, but we aren't going down without a fight. This week it was against, if I can ever get it to go down, please. All right. It's against the Great Lake Loons. If I could just get the schedule to go down. Thank you. All right. 6-game series against the Great Lake Loons. The Loons are a good team. But not this week. The first game, July 21st. Lugnuts win 9-6. Wednesday, July 22nd. This was Western Michigan night. I think. No,
I think
it wasn't.
That was Thursday.
Yep. Well, anyway, Great Lakes on July 22nd was a loss against the Loons, 2-4, and I got to see Funky Feather, and I wanted to punch every Loons fan, but that's okay, because they're just doing some milk.
What?
They're getting some milk done. Anyways, the next day, it was the Loons versus Lugnuts, and it was a Western Michigan night. Let me tell you something. On college nights, it was undefeated until tonight. So now the one loss is when we had Western Michigan.
Says a lot, huh? Should probably not have Western Michigan night again.
If we don't have Western Michigan night again, I'm not working there again. Anyways, we lose 5-8, but then the next 3 games were wins. The net for July 24th being 3-1, July 25th being 8-5, and July 26th to win the series and walk away with a series win. All we had to do was win, and bam, we won 8-7 because of a walk-off. And by the time of recording this, we are in Wisconsin right now. The previous game 1, we lost 7-2. So that 3-game win streak really didn't last for very long. So, but the Lugnuts are trying to come back from this. I do think, in a way, they are 7 games back. I do think, in a way, we could come back in the month of August if we just play smart. If we do that, but also
playing smart is not an easy feat.
Also, there was a injury that happened to Ryan Lasko. Ryan Lasko this past year actually was on the Lugnuts. And then he got called up to Midland, the AA affiliate, I think it's AA. Yeah, AA affiliate of the Athletics. And he suffered a neck injury. I kind of now don't want to show it because it is graphic.
Yeah, I would not put it on the camera. But
right.
Say what happened.
Let me just say, when they went to go for the ball, another guy went to go for the ball, and they collided with each other. And let me just say, Ryan Lasko was not moving at all. Come to find out, one of his vertebrae was broke. So right now, he is still talking. He's in a neck brace, and from what I found out is that he is right now he's not able to move shoulder down. So it's kind of hard, but the good thing is, come out of this, is that he will recover from it. So he will recover from it. It will take him a long time, of course, but just all players through the athletics organization was wearing Lasco Strong shirts. And let me tell you, I was trying to ask my boss, where can I get that shirt? Because I want that shirt so bad. And it's only given to the players and the organization. They don't sell them, sadly. But if they did, I would have bought them instantly. Like, here, take my money.
Yeah, that was a pretty horrific injury. Um, Safe to say he probably won't play baseball again, but hopefully he
No.
can still make a recovery and still live a life, a fruitful life. So that's really sad.
But at least he's not paralyzed.
That
So
is true. That is true.
that he won't be paralyzed. He will recover from it. So that's the good thing. Wow,
Okay.
what the you get down in there? My cat's literally under my thing. What the fuck?
All right. Well, that is it for baseball. We only have one thing left today, and that is NASCAR. We got a good amount of NASCAR stuff to go over. There will be no poker chips today because they are off this weekend.
I just love how I remembered that, and I brought my poker chips out too.
That's okay. We're gonna do poker chips next week. But they were in Indianapolis this weekend. The truck race was at Indianapolis Raceway Park, and then Xfinity. And oh my god, dude, what is with the fucking blurriness on my camera? Look at my hand. Look at my fingers. That made it
Look at
worse.
Ingies.
That made it worse. Anyway, the truck race at IRP was pretty good. More typical short track action. Not too many cautions. And the race was overall dominated by Lane Riggs, who seems to be the front runner for the championship. And at this point, if he doesn't win the championship, I'd be very disappointed. But he picked up the win. He won at IRP last year, and he won again this year. So good job to Lane Riggs. Otherwise, fairly decent race. Nothing super crazy. Then the Xfinity race, obviously on the big oval, was it's a decent race, all things considered. Lots of comers and goers. Nothing super crazy here as far as big crashes or anything like that. Again, I didn't watch much of the racing action. I didn't watch the truck race or the Xfinity race because I had to work. So I was just watching the highlights. But the biggest highlight out of this was Carson Kvapil finally getting his first career Xfinity Series win. After so many tries, he is able to pull it off. It was followed up by a really nice interview by Dale Jr., who, of course, Carson Kvapil drives for. So, good job, Carson Kvapil, finally getting his first career win. Good job for him.
And also, it's a 1, 2, 3, 4 finish for Junior Motorsports.
Good job there.
Take care, brother.
Then the Cup race, the ultra controversial Cup race. This I did get to watch in its entirety, and it was not great. You could not really pass anybody at all. There were no passes for the lead other than pit road and the restarts. So basically, F1. It's just because NASCAR's made the cars so aerodynamically dependent that you really can't race them anymore. It's not really that surprising.
Even in NASCAR 25, we've had some issues where we've tried to pass people, but you need to draft to get by them.
Right. It's just, yeah. I mean, India's overall never put on like the ultra best racing product, at least on a year-to-year basis. There are some good standout years like 2017, like pretty much any of the races before 2008 were good as well. And then it kind of fell off a little bit, but there's been some good ones since then. Listen, still better than the road courses because there's too many road courses. But it was a pretty bad day for Hendrick.
Like we needed the Indianapolis road course in the first place.
It was a pretty bad day for Hendrick overall. Kyle Larson crashed near the end of stage 1, which I thought was really funny because he went on record this past week complaining that the NASCAR races are too long because he's a baby and can't race a full-length NASCAR race anymore. Okay. Then he crashed out in the end of the first stage, so I guess he got what he wanted. And then Recce Spinhouse took out Chase Elliott in stage 2. So that was fun. Then it was a decent day for Alex Bowman, who surprisingly was the best car for Hendrick. We didn't really hear much out of William Byron, though. They didn't really do anything crazy, but still not a great day for Hendrick. And then of course there was the in-season challenge fight that was going on as well between Todd Gilliland and Ryan Blaney. Well, Ryan Blaney seemingly had it in the bag until he got caught up in a big crash late in the race. Somehow, despite pancaking the wall, he was able to not only stay in the race, but have a good enough car to continue to contend for the in-season challenge title. So that was a pretty tight-knit race between him and Ryan Blaney. But as far as the race up front went, Carson Hocevar had it early, and we picked Carson Hocevar in fantasy, and he did pretty good, all things considered, points-wise. But it would end up being a pretty big Toyota-dominated day. Corey Heim put on one of the best races of his life in his first trip to Indianapolis at all. He goes out and pretty much dominates the race. Now again, aerodynamic package, couldn't really pass anybody, but he pulled off some pretty insane blocks, especially near the end, especially on his boss, Denny Hamlin, pulling off a massive block on the last restart of the race. Then he was able to hold off a charge from Christopher Bell and put on a really, really good performance and take the win. Corey Heim, a 2-time winner this season. The first guy to win multiple races in a part-time schedule ever for a cup race, I think. Can't remember, but still very, very impressive things that he was able to do there. Doesn't mean it was a great race, but it was a good winner. And his rivalry with Carson Hocevar is funny too. I think that's going to be a good rivalry. Also, I think Corey Heim, at this point, I think we could call him a not-so-dark horse contender for the 2027 Cup Series title. If he's putting on performances like this right now, just imagine what he can do in a full-time season next year. I mean, he is going to be an absolute stud. I am here for it. I think it's going to be really, really awesome. And honestly, they should give Corey Heim the 11 car after Denny Hamlin retires. Because Brent Cruz, what the fuck are you doing? But we'll see. Maybe they will. Who knows? But there's a lot of debates about Indy not coming back again. I think more people are against it staying now than before, but I don't know. I think it's the car's fault, not the track's fault.
It is.
But NASCAR won't admit their faults, and they won't admit that they've made the cars like F1 and so aerodynamically dependent that they can't be driven.
You see, you haven't had close races in a long time. And if you notice from this weekend at Indy, you see how Xfinity had a close race between two teammates versus Cup race? I mean,
well, it's just the fact that that's why the short track races suck now. That's why the road course races suck now, is because they're lowering the horsepower and upping the aerodynamic dependency. And that just doesn't work for those kind of tracks. It's as simple as that. You know what I mean? But that's that. So we'll see what happens with Indy. I don't know. I mean, it is what it is. It was not a great race, but what can you do? But, of course, the in-season challenge. Gotta say who win that. Yeah, like I said, Ryan Blaney, despite being involved in that crash, still had a chance, but it was not enough. Folks, the 25th seed, Todd Gilliland, is our in-season challenge winner. That's hilarious.
Got signed to an extension and then got new shoes in North Wilkesboro and then literally won the in-season tournament the next week. Like, what kind of luck does this guy get?
I think it was incredible because he didn't really run that good at all. He finished 25th and Ryan Blaney finished like 29th. So it wasn't even like they were running up front for the win. But Todd Gilliland does it. He is the in-season challenge winner in 2027. So he's a big bucks millionaire, or at least he won $1 million. Probably be distributed within the team. But
big bucks.
So good job, Todd Gilliland. Okay, that was it for Indianapolis. Obviously, again, they're off this weekend, so we're not going to do any race previews, but we do have a lot of news to cover as far as the schedule and some silly season stuff. Speaking of the schedule, the trucks are going back to St. Petersburg to be a doubleheader with IndyCar again in 2027. I thought that was a pretty cool little doubleheader thing that they did, so it's cool to bringing it back.
NASCAR Cup Series should go there.
The Clash is going back to the Daytona Oval for the first time since 2020. That'll be next year. I think that's a great idea because I did like Bowman Gray, but the weather was too inconsistent. And I think overall it'll just be a better overall race and experience for the fans if it's back at Daytona. Plus, get the whole Speed Weeks thing back. I think that's pretty cool.
Do Michigan. True. NASCAR in the snow.
Drew.
Snow tires. Let's test out the snow tires in the next gens.
Drew. Another big thing that was announced was Jimmy Johnson's car for his final race in the Daytona 500 next year. He's going to be driving the 48. But not for Hendrick. He's going to be driving it for Legacy Motor Club.
I know how it's going to go. I found out that most likely what's going to happen, this is my thing. I don't know if this is actually going to happen. If Alex Bowman, which we're going to talk about soon, I'm not going to say what the news is, but he might go to the 25 for one race. Right? And then Jimmy Johnson will drive that 48 Toyota for one race and then give it back to Bowman. I mean, it sounds right. You still have the 25 as your car number. Hendrick does. So, I mean,
I guess. I don't know. I mean, I think at this point they're probably just going to run 248s, which would not make much sense, but...
Oh my god, the 48 is pushing the 48. No way, the 48 takes the lead from the 48.
True. Now, this is a big deal because Alex Bowman also announced this week that he is going to retire from full-time Cup Series competition after next year. And he will be driving the 48 next year. So, I don't know. I don't know how they're going to do that. It's a little weird. They're not obviously going to make Alex Bowman miss the Daytona 500. Because if they were going to do that, they would have put Jimmy in the 48 for Hendrick. But also, I mean, with Alex Bowman retiring, it sucks because he's still really not that old. But with all the injuries that he's had, it doesn't really surprise me. He had the back injury, he's had concussions, he's got the vertigo problems, and it's really hurt his performance. You know, and the 48, let's be real, has been the weakest Hendrick car in the field for the better part of almost a decade now. Going back to when Jimmy Johnson was still in it. I think Bowman, I mean, he had one strong season, like 2021. But then, of course, he's been injured, all that sort of stuff. He hasn't ran a full season this year, even because of the vertigo problems. And he wants to be with his family more. I get it. I'm not too surprised that he's retiring. I think that he would have been booted from the 48 if he chose not to retire. I'm sure that Rick Hendricks sat him down and was like, hey, we get that you're having injury problems, man. We'll let you go out in the 48 or we're going to boot you. And he decided he's going to go out in the 48. Not surprised. Hopefully he can get one or two more wins in his belt. Hopefully he can run a full season next year to go out. Hopefully maybe he can win another race or so. Just to go out with a little bit of, go out on top, is what I say. He's not a bad driver. He's just been very unlucky. That's that. The only other NASCAR thing I have is that it was also announced that Chandler Smith will not be returning to Front Row Motorsports in 2027. This is sparking further debates that he will be called up to bigger and better teams next year. Kind of an unexpected decision. He's been with the team forever, but I think he is a fairly solid driver, and maybe he's looking for a little more. So we'll see where he goes, and we'll see who ends up filling his ride in the 38 for the Truck Series. So, but that's all of the news that I had, unless you had anything else, Gary.
No, not really.
Well, folks, then that's going to do it for this week's episode of Live, Laugh, Left. Next week, we will talk about the Tigers, the trade deadline, and anything else crazy that comes up. We'll do the poker chips again, obviously. So it should be a lot of fun. But otherwise, guys, it's going to do it for this episode. So stay tuned for other much more amazing content for both me and Hitmaster. And until next time, see you guys later. Bye-bye.